I ran into all kind of technical issues before recording this video. Spent so long troubleshooting, way longer than I should have. Anyway, it was a simple fix in the end, but I didn't go the simple route first because I get into troubleshooting, I just go into the weeds. Anyway, I saw this article on Comics Beat and I thought it was pretty good because it talks about a villain I did not realize that I would be so invested in when I started reading some of these Ultimate comic books. But it's a really compelling villain, and that villain is the Maker. So let's get into this article. Comics Beat, Classic Comic Compendium, Ultimate Doomsday helped solidify one of Marvel's greatest villains. I don't think it's controversial to say that the original the that originally the Ultimates universe was a success. Whatever your taste or not, Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate X-Men attracted new readers and reinvigorated an interest in comics among many. You can argue that the approach of updating old stories or just outright telling an alternative universe story with familiar characters could be confusing at times, but by and large, the stories tended to be entertaining. I think I can agree with that. I don't think people always want alternative stories. I think sometimes comic creators they default to the alternative story. I think they assume that, oh, this is exactly what the fans want. I don't think the fans always want alternative stories. They work. I'm not against them, but I'm not 100% in the bag for alternative stories all the time. I think it can be abused, and I think that's primarily the issue that some people have when they do have a problem with those stories. And later books like The Ultimates prove to be foundational in how the Marvel Cinematic Universe coalesce. There's no denying that the influence of the book on the movies, or there's no denying the influence of the book on the movies. Even if I personally don't tend to like the series, the art is great, but I find all of the characters to be rather horrible jerks with some questionable actions. I get that this is also probably part of the appeal to many. Yet, as the years went on, the Ultimate Universe, in the eyes of some, became just another alternate universe. Although I think many of the creators who continued working on the series were telling good stories, and the quality on Ultimate Spider-Man specifically never dipped. I think some question its purpose, and some would argue debate on whether the quality dipped or not. But I'm not necessarily here for that debate. I'm here for the greater argument of the article. And so they shook up the universe in a devastating way, giving rise to what's considered one of the worst comics ever published by Marvel. Wow, didn't expect that. I didn't read the article all the way through, so I wasn't expecting them to say that. This isn't about that. I wouldn't do that to you, probably. I don't think the original Ultimate Universe ever managed to fully recover from that series, but it did still produce some good tales and multiple more endings as it continued to diverge from the main 616 universe. I think it's like anything. You get some comic books, and if a comic book goes on for a while, not all of them are going to be good. Some of them are going to diverge. People are going to like some of the stories. Some of the stories, people are going to be like, not really gravitate toward too much. So I definitely get that. Ultimate Doomsday by Brian Michael Bendis, Rafael Sandoval, Roger Bonet, Jordi Tarragona, Matthew Wilson, Joe Caramagna, I think that's how you say his name, Caramagna, anyway, and Clayton Cowles picks up some of the pieces after the devastation of Magneto destroying New York, of Reed Richards implication in destroying the Supreme Powers universe, of Jessica Drew's problems with Roxxon, the fallout of the Fantastic Four falling apart, and even some of the stuff spinning off of the Galactus trilogy. The story was originally published as 3 separate miniseries: Ultimate Enemy, Ultimate Mystery, and Ultimate Doom. But it's really one big story. It starts as mysterious attacks begin occurring at various locations, appearances by unknown aliens, and explosions. It largely follows 2 parallel tracks as Spider-Man and Spider-Woman investigate the Roxxon angle and Shield. Sue Storm and Ben Grimm follow the broader tracks. It's a good deal of people yelling at one another, some heavy Bendis dialogue quirks with the Roxxon brain trust, and explosions. Sounds like a Michael Bay movie. And those explosions look great. It's interesting seeing Rafael Sandoval's art here at this stage compared to his more recent work in Absolute Superman. There's a greater simplicity here to his line work, similar a bit to Stuart Immonen, although with more angularity and exaggeration in some faces. Angularity. I don't know why I said angularity. Angularity and exaggeration in some faces, and shading and contour left to open shapes, with both Roger Bonet and Jordi Tarragona on the final issue maintaining a smooth line of inks, and Matthew Wilson bringing out the texture and contour with his colors. There's also a nice glow to the series of the bright fluorescent colors for the explosions and powers usage. This also is one of the few books outside of the first year or so of the Ultimate Universe when they hadn't made the decision on style yet. That doesn't use mixed case. Joe Caramagna's letters here are in all caps. Man, I couldn't get that out. Let's see. Regardless of what you think of the Ultimate Universe as a whole, or even of this story specifically, I do think the Ultimate Doomsday by Bendis, Sandoval, Bonet, Tarragona, Wilson, and Cowles accomplished one major thing. It solidified the creation of one of the biggest, most dangerous villains anywhere in the Marvel Universe. Although not named as the maker yet, all of the pain and heartbreak, all of the accusations and death, all of the bad decisions made by Reed Richards came to a head here, and he finally broke, setting the stage for the horrors of what an emotionally immature, functionally immature super genius of an evil version of one of the brightest heroes could be, who still thinks he's doing good and trying to save the world. Yeah, I will say I agree. The maker, in my opinion, has turned out to be one of Marvel's most villainous villains. I mean, when you look at everything going on in the Ultimate Universe thus far, I mean, I just read that Ultimate Spider-Man number 15, and you see the absolute villainy of Kingpin, and he pales in comparison to what's coming with the maker. I am super curious to see just how exactly they wrap this story up and where they take it.